I recently saw this screen on Lyft for the very first time. Let's discuss. So there was a day recently where I basically wanted to drive all day. I needed to make up for hours the previous day. I missed out on some hours the previous day. I started the day around 8 a.m. and as I was finishing the day, this is what I saw in the Lyft driver app. So first, behind this message that popped up, you can see on the bottom there, I'm not allowed to go online, and it says view issues. When I click that button, then this message pops up. It says break required. You've been driving for a while, so you won't be able to go online for a few hours. Learn more about driver mode limits in the Lyft.com help site. Again, this is the first time I've ever seen this message. Usually my longer days will run anywhere from 10 to 11 hours. I've never really gone into the 12-hour area. So this got me to thinking about driving time limits. What are they for both companies? Alright, so first, here's a look at Lyft's official documentation for driving time limits. You must take a full uninterrupted 6-hour break for every 12 hours you're in driver mode. These 12 hours in driver mode do not have to be consecutive. Once you have been in driver mode for 12 hours, our system will prevent you from going online until you have taken this mandatory 6-hour break. In addition to Lyft's standard driver mode limit, certain regions have local regulations that determine how long a driver can stay in driver mode and how long their break must be. If you exceed the driver mode limit for your specific region, our system will prevent you from going online until you have taken the break required for your region. The time you spend waiting in an airport queue won't be counted towards the 12-hour limit. And then at the bottom there, they have a link where you can see requirements in your specific area. And we will leave this link in the description. And here's Uber's official documentation. It's very similar to Lyft's. 12 hours on, 6 hours off before driving again. Also, time spent in the airport queue will not count towards your 12 hours. And anytime you're offline for 6 or more hours, your driving hours will reset to 12. So those are the driving time limits nationwide. You're allowed to be online for up to 12 hours. Once you hit that 12 hours, then you have to go offline for at least 6 hours. And this driving time is of course tracked in both driver apps. In the Uber driver app, you just need to toggle up the bottom bar. And then in the middle of the screen there, you can see driving time. And here's where you can see how much driving time you have available and also the driving time policy. And with Lyft, you'll just want to go in and look at your daily view. And if you are approaching 12 hours, you'll just need to remember that soon you'll be required to take a 6-hour break. Now, this 12 on, 6 off is standard nationwide, but also certain regions have different requirements. For instance, in Colorado, and this is Lyft's documentation, drivers may not spend more than 12 consecutive hours in driver mode within one day, spend a total of 16 cumulative hours in driver mode within one day. Drivers who reach this limit must take an 8-hour break, or drivers that spend 70 total hours in driver mode in 1 week. And in Nevada regulations require that drivers take a 12 consecutive hour break after providing rides for 12 cumulative hours within a 24-hour period, and take an 8 consecutive hour break after being in driver mode for 16 cumulative hours within a 24-hour period. These are just examples for those specific regions, but other regions may have different requirements, and again, we will leave that link in the description. So this won't apply to most drivers. Most drivers are not driving 12 hours within a day. But for those of you that are planning on going really hard within one day, remember that you do have that 12-hour driving limit. Technically, you could get around this by driving for both platforms. Uber's not tracking your Lyft driving time, and Lyft is not tracking your Uber driving time. But this is definitely not worth it. You are actually in violation of the law if you do exceed that 12-hour driving limit, and you could also face massive fines and deactivation. So there are the standards on driving limits on both Uber and Lyft. Again, check your specific regions to see what your limits are there. They may be different than what they are nationwide. But what about all of you? Have you ever made it to this limit like I just did? Leave a comment below and let us know. Thanks again for watching and drive safe. Thanks.